Okay, so before I start, just one questions. Do you guys have any knowledge in data engineering? That what you have to do in basic knowledge in data engineering? What the data engineer do each and every day by day work? Yes. Okay. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay. And please let me know if my screen is visible. Okay. So basically, a data engineer task, so day by day task is extract the data from some source, whatever, but it's not working. Okay. So text. Okay. So this is a source, and they have to extract the data from some source. Okay, and they have to load. They have performed some transformation task. Where here it said transformation. And finally, they have to load the data from some other source for the business user. Let's say someone using the data, build some machine learning model, or maybe they are using Power BI or business intelligence job. Okay, some dashboard kind of things. So this will be your day-to-day job. This will be load. Now over here, this bootcamp will show you that we are gathering the data from Spotify API, Spotify database. So think about that. Spotify already have a database, and we are accessing that database using API, and we bring some data to our DataBricks cluster. We all know that what is DataBricks cluster in the letter. And then we build some transformation logic, because we will see that how the Spotify data store in their databases, and we then extract some useful data from that API and build some tables or a CSV file, a common CSV file, so we can use it in further our Power BI presentation or dashboard kind of things. We can build some dashboards. Okay, so how let's first discuss about this API. Yeah, did you guys heard about this API? What is API? Yes, it's an application interface. Okay, application performance interface. So let's think about this. Spotify have a Delta Lake. So what is Delta Lake? Delta Lake is a new term, okay, where you have multiple databases. There is something called in HDFS, okay, distributed file process, HDFS. You have some databases inside Delta Lake. Let's say this is a database. This is a database, okay, and there is let's say one data, there's something called blob, okay. This is one kind of database. It's an Azure blob or a AWS S3. So Azure blob. And there are some databases which are not relational database. A not relational database means inside a database, there are multiple tables. Let's say one table is talking about these Spotify users, those users apps. Okay, one tables are talking about the songs. The songs are uploaded in the Spotify. One tables are about the artist, though those artists who are stored over there, right? And why it is relational? Maybe there is some relation between this strong song artist and song, whatever the song they are produced, right? There is a direct relation. And user and the song names have some relation that user can play those musics, right? So this is a relational database. And what is non-relational database? Non-relational database, it's not like that there is no relation between the data. It's the way we store the data. Let's see, there is a one log file we are getting about this user. Okay, their username, their mobile number, email ID, which location they have. There is a, let's say, 150 columns of data, just one row and 150 columns of data we are getting, and we just want to store that data for the time being. And later we will process that data and store the data in proper database manner. Okay, so that's where these NoSQL database come. It can store data faster, and we can use that data in the later to better, let's say, to organize it. Okay, so now Spotify have that database, but you are, let's say, you are one of the employees of Spotify, or you are a user. Let's say you are a user over here, and there is a bunch of employees over there, right? And one employee is storing the data in this database, maybe one of the database. Okay, and one employee just accessing the database. Let's say we are user, right? We are accessing the database. Do you think Spotify will let you know or give you the access of this database? No, right? Guys, yes or no? Just a simple question. They will not give you the access, right? So what will they will do? Maybe some hackers will hack them system, right? So they are protecting this database. So they are creating some username and password to store for security purpose. But still, Spotify not give you that username password of this whole data lake to you as well, right? Then if they didn't give you, maybe they didn't give you this username password to your their employees as well. So how did that employee, or let's say third party, us, we are accessing that database? So we are accessing that database. There is a one third party, there is one layer over here, which is called API. So we are accessing these databases through API. Okay, so API have two very important concept. One is authentication, one another is authorization. So let's talk about authentication and authorization. What is the difference between them and what it is? So authentication, what is authentication means? Let's say you have created one Gmail ID, right? And you are given your username and password. Now you try to log in that Gmail ID next day. Okay. So what Google will do? Google will match your email ID and password, whatever you have given previous day or when you create it, it will match it, their databases. And if when it is matched, they will make you, okay, this is match, you can access your email. So that is authentication, because you are authenticated. Okay. And there is something called authorization. Authorization. So you have username, password, and you are accessing Google database using your email ID and password, kind of way. Okay. And you want your let's say your brother or your family member also accessing the same Google Drive using the same user ID and password. So what you will do, you will tell Google that, okay, create a ID for them as well. Okay, so they can access database behalf of myself. So that is authorization. You are authorizing someone to accessing the Google databases or any other databases behalf of yourself. Okay, so in this authorization section, what API will do, API will create one secret ID, we call it ID, and one is a client ID. Okay, secret ID and client ID, same as like username, password, but in API world it's called a secret ID and secret password. Okay, so this is secret ID and password you are required to connect the databases. Okay, everybody understood what is authentication and what is authorization, what is the difference between them, and why we required in API world? If you have any doubt, please let me know. Okay, so we can go to this practical and we can create one API, Spotify API, and we can access the Spotify data through DataBricks. Okay, so one of the good thing of this bootcamp is that we are not required to install any software in our local system. Everything will be happening online. Okay, Roshan, do you have any questions? No? Okay. Okay, then, so we can proceed. So I need one volunteer who has Spotify ID, who can share the screen and we can create Spotify API. You just need an internet connection and email. Okay, that's it. Anyone? Okay, let's see who's there over there. Kalyani, Mayur, Roshan, Sadia, Sanjit, Shraddha, Tarun, Vikram, anyone? Yeah, yeah, no issue. No issue. Okay, okay. So if you don't want to do, let me do it. Okay. So what is developer dot yes Spotify.com? This is the website. Okay. So please go everyone in this website. I have already logged in, so that's why log out. So once you open this Spotify developer.spotify.com, you will see a page like this. Okay. And then click on login, and it will ask for your email ID password. Okay, and if you don't have any Spotify account, you can click on this sign up for Spotify. Okay, it will ask only username and password, email ID and password, and then it will ask for a code which will go into your email ID, and you have to put that code to authenticate. Okay, so let's say I have already one ID I have created, so that it took me directly over here. Okay. So please let me confirm everyone that if you are created on Spotify ID or not in the developer Spotify. If no one want to do that, or you can do it in later. Okay. So for now we can use my ID and client ID and password. Okay. So how do you create a API for a Spotify? Okay. So once you log in, so you will see something like this. When you click your name over here, you will click on this dashboard. Okay. Dashboard will show something like this. This gather data will not show you, but it will be blank because I have created one app over here. So now you have to create, click on create app. Okay. It will create an app and you have to give a app name, whatever app name you can give. Okay, and you have to give a app description, what you want to do this app. So for me, let's say what I have given. So I've given the app name as a gather data. Application description is a interact with playlist, album, and tracks. Okay, as well as user define user specific data like say tracks or playlist, something like that. These are much more in deeper. Okay, so in this bootcamp we will try to access playlist, albums, and tracks. You can provide a website. There is no mandatory, but the redirected URI is required. So you have to write HTTP / localhost, and don't give 4500. Give anything else. Okay. So once you've done it, you have to write a save over here, and it will create a app. Once you create the app, it will show you like this basic information. Okay, in basic information, you will see over here client ID. One ID is given, and there is also a client secret. This secret ID is given. So using this client ID and secret ID, we will access Spotify databases from our DataBricks. Okay, everyone clear, or someone try to create API keys, API tokens? Okay, great, Kalyani. Now, once you created it, okay, so we have to go to DataBricks and we want to create one account in DataBricks as well. Okay, I know this is a little bit hectic to creating account, but DataBricks give you a lots of functionality. Yes, Mayur, it is fine. So when we do the DataBricks, create the DataBricks account, okay? Because over here we are writing some code, okay? So this one is mandatory. You can create this API in the, you can show these recordings, okay? You can use my client ID and my client secret for now, but creating the DataBricks, it is mandatory right now. So okay, what is community edition? So be DataBricks. Okay, so this is the website. Please everyone go to this website. Okay, once you go to this website, click on get started for free. You need to create one account. And over here, you have to provide your details, first name, last name, email ID, company. You can give company any name, okay? There is no issue. Title, and this phone number is optional. You can provide phone number or not. But there is one trick over here, because it's a premium service and also there is a free service. We are not going to the premium service. We are only accessing the free services, okay? So once you proceed, I don't think it will make me proceed because I have already the account. Okay, once you hit the continue, you will see don't click this Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud Platform. Okay, if you click any of this, it will ask for a credit card. So don't click on this. You have to click this get started with community edition. Okay, just give me a confirmation that you are able to do this in this page. Okay, just write in the chat yes or no. I will understand the idea. Okay, once you click on this get started with community edition, and it will verify. Okay, pick a cat. Wow. What happened? So check your email to start your trial. You have to open your email, and in your email, I think there is one mail is gone. Okay, let me check my mail. I'm stop sharing it. Okay, you will get a mail like this. Welcome to DataBricks community. You can access it. Click on this link. This link. Okay, let me. So once you reset this, your password, you will see a page like this. Okay. And please let me know once you have reached in this stage. So I can explain some components, okay, and what we are going to use. Everyone done? Okay, fantastic. What about others? Devayan, Kunal, Mayur, Mohammed, Roshan, Shraddha, Tarun. Okay, Tarun is also done. Okay, once you have done, and you see in the left hand side, DataBricks, below that, there's it written data science and engineering, and there is a machine learning. So this is a complete package DataBricks give you. And in the back end, the compiler is Spark. Spark is one of the, you can say, fastest compiler. And in the big data world, Spark is in-memory process. Okay, it is much more faster than traditional. We are using MapReduce or any other processing task. It is faster. So in backend, DataBricks use Spark, but it uses different programming language. Let's say SQL. You know SQL, you can write SQL queries over here and it will execute. If you run R programming language, okay, you can execute over here. If you know Python, you can run over here. If you know Scala, you can run over here. Okay, and there is a one most important, let's say Python and Spark is mixed together, and there is a programming language called PySpark. So we are running some PySpark code tomorrow, okay, for transformation, for creating some databases, something like this. We'll use PySpark code. But today we just using that API, okay, just access the database and what kind of data we can gather. Okay, so now after that, you see there is a workspace. So workspace is, let's say, your company have a DataBricks whole cluster, okay, DataBricks account. And inside the DataBricks account, your company can create multiple users. So multiple users will be their employees. So their employees will be logged into DataBricks, and the same notebook can be accessed by me, you, or some other people as well. Okay, so it is a completely shared network. Everyone can access the notebook. Everyone can write different programming language. Let's say I know Python, so I am writing some code in Python. You know R, you are writing the same code in R programming language. Maybe someone else who knows Scala, so he is writing the same code, same processing, same transformation code in Scala. Okay, so it doesn't matter what programming language you know, you can do the same task, same programming job in this single notebook. We call it a notebook. Okay, it's a Jupyter notebook, and we'll create some notebook and run some code as well. So that's the fascinating thing DataBricks provide, because each and every programming language have different compiler. So if you want to run some Python code, you need Python compiler. If you run some Scala code, you need Scala compiler. So instead of doing the multiple compiler, why not just create only one compiler and use those all programming language, the same compiler? So that's what DataBricks do. That's why DataBricks is so much popular nowadays. So in workspace, we can create notebook. We can share that same notebook to our own network, whole network. Okay, there is a one thing, something called recent. So who used the recent notebook, whoever created the notebook. Okay, so it's the recent. There is such, let's say there's a multiple notebook you have, you can't find that notebook, just write it over here, it will search. And let me know that this data compute and workflow is showing to your account or not, especially this data, because DataBricks also come with some databases. Okay, so it is DataBricks own, it's called, yeah, this is database. I don't think so this database will accessible. It is DFBS. It's some kind of like a Delta Lake we are discussing in the beginning, right? Inside Delta Lake, there's a multiple databases, multiple HDFS. So you can access those HDFS as well. So I think this is not available to everyone, DFBS. So to accessing that DFBS, you have to click on this setting, okay? And then admin console. If you click on these settings and admin console, and then you have to click on this workspace settings. Okay. So in workspace settings, you will see this, there is something called clusters. Okay. We will come back to clusters after that. Okay. What is clusters? And in advanced section, you will see DBFS file browser. It is disabled. So you have to just enable it. Okay. You see there's a pop-up coming. It's enabled. Now, if you go to this data, I think it takes some time. And over here, you will see DBFS is written. Yeah, you must refresh. So I have to refresh. And once I refresh it, click on the data and you see DBFS is come. So you can load some data over here. They have already one tables over here. We can access, is there any data? No, there is no data. So you can put the data, whatever data we are gathering from Spotify, you can put the data in DFBS as well. Okay, so next time you can use that data. Okay, now comes the compute. That compute, I am saying the compiler. Okay, so compute is a processing engine. I'm not saying as a processing engine, so it's a process. So it's a much more like a CPU power. So when you run some task in your Windows system or any operating based system, Linux or Mac OS, so there is some CPU power required or GPU power required. Okay, so that's the compute provided by DataBricks, and it is absolutely free. There is a one drawback is this compute will be disabled after 2 hours if you don't use it. Okay, and it is very limited. There is 2 CPU core is be given, so you have to create on this create cluster. Sorry, whatever. Click on this create compute. Okay, give a compute name. So we are doing Spotify. So give it a Spotify. Any runtime will work. Okay, runtime 12.2, 13.1. It's a basically which programming language is given. It's a C, Scala 2.12 and Spark 3.3.2. So Spark primarily built on Scala, but most of the people are new to Scala, so that's why they moved to Python. So that's why PySpark is built. So anyone you can choose. Over here, I am choosing 12.2. And then you have to click on this create cluster, and you see over here 15.3 gigabytes of memory it is giving, 2 core, and 1 DPU means this is the DataBricks way to calculate that how much CPU it is. So 1 DPU. So if once you click on this create cluster, it will create the cluster and it will take some times. Okay. So now if you run some code in Python, you need to compile that code. So this cluster which we created, it will compile that code. Everybody create the cluster, okay? And it will take some time. You will see over here, it's written. And please make a confirmation that everyone able to create it. Just write a yes or no in the chat. Okay, let it be done. Okay, once it's done, it will notify. So now we will create a notebook. So a notebook where all the codes will be stored. So you can click on workspace and then user, and then right click is over here, create a notebook. That's a long way. Or you can click on the create, okay, and there is a, you see, notebook is coming directly. So click on this notebook and a notebook will be created. And you see over here, it's giving a name, untitled notebook, something like this. So we can give it as a Spotify day 1. And in the right side bottom, you see it's reading starting because our cluster is not yet created. So it's starting. Once it's created, we can run some code. And we are using PySpark, okay? And you see over here, it is written as a Python. You can change it to Python to SQL, Scala, and R as well. So we are using Python. And in the right side, you see over it, it's also written Python. If you want to change it to the SQL, but you don't want to go over there each and every time you change, you have to write %SQL. It will change. You see, in the right side, it will change to SQL. So let's say we want to create some markdown cells. Markdown cells is the heading. So heading is first import the libraries. And how to run this? To compile this, you can do the shift plus enter, or in the right side, you will see run. You can click on the run, or you see there is a plus button. In plus button, it will create a new cell. So each and every cell we can run, and it will compile each and one by one. Okay, cluster is not set up so far. Not set up. Okay, first we have to import for Py, I guess. But if the cluster is not run, we can't run it. Cluster should be limited. Okay, any questions? Okay, so how many of you know about Python? Or heard about it, Python? What is Python? Okay, I take it as a yes, easy to code. So over here I have written import Spotify. What does it mean? So Python is a high level compiler language, okay? And there is a lots of libraries. Libraries means there's some sort of instruction. A library have compiles between some sort of instruction. This Spotify library, it's basically a library which actually connect Python to directly your Spotify API, Spotify database using Spotify API. Okay. Now my cluster is ready. Over here you see cluster is ready. I can run it. So first I am importing some libraries, and we can use these libraries and provide this client ID and client secret. Using this library, I can access the Spotify database. So run it, shift plus enter. So once I run it, is there any error giving? Everyone also run the same. Okay, import Spotify. Post it in the chat. Okay, I got some error. Everyone got the same error? Module not found error. Anyone get the error? Okay, so why it is error? Because this library is not installed in this work environment, which one we have over here. This cluster we have created over here. This cluster doesn't have this library, so we have to install that library to use it. So how can we install a library? It's a percentage pip install Spotify. Okay. Let's paste the command in the chat as well. I pasted the command in the chat. And you see there are some downloading. Python interpreter is started. It will download. Okay, and successfully installed Spotify. So now if I run this again, import Spotify, it will not throw any error. Okay, so now we have to write, okay, from Spotify.auth to import Spotify client credentials. So this is the one of the class inside this library, which will connect our APIs. Okay. So again, paste in the chat, you can run it. So now we have to put this client ID. So let's say client underscore ID equal to imports. This one, and this one is client secret. Client secret. Okay, so everyone use the same. If you create your own client ID, client secret, you can provide it over here as well. Okay, so once it's done, just run shift enter. So we have already declared this client ID and client secret. Now we have to use, we are using this class get the data. Client credentials manager equal to, it should be Spotify credentials client ID equal to the same client ID, comma, client secret equal to this client secret. Okay, and then we have to give a name, Spotify, and give us Spotify dot Spotify client credential manager equal to client credential manager. Okay. Okay, my bad. So this is CLI. Okay, just modify the code. Okay, what is issue? Type expected keyword. Okay. Okay, everyone run it. I think there is some issue I'm facing. I have no idea why it is. Let me- Same code is working. I have no idea. Okay, it's working. Guys, working for you? Or it is throwing error, any error? So once it's run successfully, if you press sp.tab, and you will see there is a lots of function we can get the data. So over here, you see that album tracks. So album ID, limit 50, offset 0, this is the parameters. Album ID. We have no idea what is the album ID, right? Again, album ID, artist album, artist ID. Yes, yes, Mayur, I will definitely share all this notebook. Okay. So we have no idea that which artist have the which ID, right? So first we have to find some idea, some artist name and their ID. So we can extract the data from Spotify. Okay. So there is something called recommendation. Yes, recommendations. So recommendations will give you, let's say 100 artist name. So we can use say genre. Okay, genre. Give me a one genre name. Which genre you guys are prefer? So let's say pop. Okay, pop is popular. Okay, and this Spotify is limited your data because we are using free API. So it will give you, let's say 100. I think limit is 100. Let's say limit equal to 200. Give 200 and run it. it will, yes, you see, it will throw error. I think 100 is the maximum. For now, we are using 10. Okay. So if you write 10, you will see it will give you some result. Okay. And the result you see, it's given as a JSON format, or in Python terms, it's a dictionary format. Okay. So now it is, you can see name, the artist name. Okay. And we can get the artist ID, album artist ID. So this is the artist ID, right? So we see one sp dot artist ID. What is artist? Is artist ID. Okay. So we put the artist ID over here, same ID, and we can get all the details about that particular artist. So tomorrow we'll learn how to extract the data from this whole dictionary. Okay. So this is NoSQL data. So it's stored in a dictionary format. There's a multiple dictionary inside a dictionary. There is a dictionary. No, I have not changed any command. Just using this. Okay. Just using this, copy this and paste it again. Maybe it's no issue. 10 or 20 times you can hit at the same time with this client ID and password. Okay. If let's say 50 people are same time hitting this code, it will block. Spotify will automatically block. Okay. So tomorrow we will extract the data and transform the data, and we will make a much more clear database. Okay. Album name, artist name, what is the track name, what is, let's say, when the track is released, okay, and the total tracks, or how much popular that track is. We will insert, we will extract lots of data from this dictionary, okay. And also one more thing, I want to say that for this bootcamp, Ivy also provide you one certificate at the end of the bootcamp. Let's see, where is this? Yes. So the process of this bootcamp, the certificate, what it is. So whatever we are building, right, this code, I will definitely share the code, and you can publish that code as well in the public forum. Okay, I will show you how to publish it. And you can publish that link in your LinkedIn, and we have to tag Ivy. Okay, I have done some data engineering or ETL pipeline in Spotify API, using Spotify API, and you will get a certificate after you posting. Okay, everyone's clear? Okay, then great. I will share this whole notebook, okay, tomorrow, at the end of tomorrow. So over here, we only use one recommendation, one artist, okay? And let's say in recommendation, there are 10, we are going 100. And we are using some loops inside of loops, okay? Using the extracting that's 100 artists, and what are the songs they have, 100 artists song, we are extracting the songs. And let's say if you want to do the user interface, it will be, you have to go much more deeper, okay? And you can do the automation from over here as well. So let's say your Spotify app is Spotify app directly connected to these nodes. Whatever you written over here, let's say play some music. You have written over here, play some music. There are some codes. If you're writing some codes over here, this Spotify app automatically play that song. Okay, you can let's say automate it from your from AI in perspective. Okay. Okay then.